Oh god, what happened to my camera? There we go. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Disgustingly Resilient Live. Once as usual, live stream will do a volume check, so let me know in the chat if that volume is okay. And I wasn't stuck, no, I was literally just having this little animation playing, 'cause it's a bit nicer than normal. Then it's just being a blank screen while I was just getting some last tidbits done, and then I got term and conditioned. So I was like, great. But yeah. Hello everyone. How's everyone doing? You all have a good evening or morning, depending where you are, or day. You know, all kind of things. Lots of members in the chat. It's really cool to see. And Saltire Games are a very lovely sponsor at the moment. How are you doing, mate? Um, Speaking of which, Saltire Games, just saying, you want any of these nice in-game tools here that are quite nice? You can get them from Saltire Games from their Etsy channel, which is probably not in the description of this because I haven't updated my live stream descriptions, but any of the other videos recently, they'll have a link to the Etsy shop and you get 10% off if you use code NERGLE. Okie dokie. So, yeah, let's get into it then, shall we? So, I obviously attended the Gravel Pit GT, which is a 51 player event at Element Games. What is this camera doing? This camera is going for a wander today. Apparently this camera doesn't want to stay still today. Stay still. Stay there. Amazing quality tier production as you've come to expect from Disgustingly Resilient. We sort that out. It's because it's got a bit damaged. It needs to get replaced really. There we go. Okay. Yes, so Saltire dropping a little bit of a sneaky peek there. He's working on some spicy new products for this channel specifically. So keep your eyes open for that. Members probably will get first grabs on those things. We'll see. We'll see. But this is really doing my head, this camera. Give me a second, guys. The camera's just been a pain, I don't know why. It's never been a pain before, but today it's just decided, nope, we're not having it. And it keeps moving, so it keeps like going up. Okay, hopefully that will be the end of the camera issues. Otherwise I'm going to super glue it to the monitor. Okay. There is not a Christmas tree in the background. It is, however, a lit up little tree, because my missus really likes decorating. It's quite funny if you look at the first stream. This room is basically bare white, and that's about it. So yeah, we went to Saltire Games GT. Bloody hell, brain work. So we have a Gravel Pit It's not Gravel Pit. This is 36 chambers. Jesus, 36 chambers GT. So it's a 51 player event at Element Games. Shout out to Element Games. Thank you for the fantastic event. It was really good. It was really well ran. I really enjoy Element Games events, and you even get a free Subway for lunch, which is really cool. So yeah, free Subway. Hell yeah. So I took, obviously, new meta. So fun fact, I've not played a single game of the new data slate before this event. I've not had a chance. I was at Coventry ITT playing a teams event there, and then that kind of like took all my time and all my playing, and then I had a week of not playing because I was knackered from the event. So this was my first experience of the new data slate going into this tournament, and obviously new lists, new metas, lots of things basically to change and sort of go about with. So it was quite interesting to see, quite different. This camera is proper. Oh, that's why the leg at the back was... okay, that's really embarrassing. The leg at the back was not down, which keeps it nice and stable on the monitor. I'm going to blame the dog for that one. Yeah, shout out to Will as well. Will was one of the TOs for the event, as well as Dan Rolfe, I think it is. But yeah, it was really well ran. It was really good. Had no toilet dice incidents this time, guys. Just good old 40k with everyone involved. So I set myself some goals for this one. My usual goal is to try and get 3 wins. Usually I'd set that goal to 4, but obviously new data slate can be a bit crazy sometimes. But 4 and 1 is sort of like the thing I try and get most of the time. And it's the thing that I usually get, to be honest. I wanted to get a push for the top 10. So of your 51 players, top 10 would be nice, 20% up there. I wanted to try a new list. Obviously, we've been playing a lot of the Plague Marine Rhino spam with no Morty, so we decided to take a new list of us, new meta, try out some new things. I really wanted to kill some Custody players, because killing Custody players is my favourite thing to do, because I find it funny. I'll never not find it funny to beat up on Custodes players. And I have a reputation to uphold the Custodes as a Custodes' worst nightmare. And I also wanted to look for ways to improve my own gameplay, which we definitely had in the loss that we took. So let's first of all, before we get into the game, let's have a look at the actual list we took ourselves. So this is the list I took. We had Typhus rolling solo. A Goonhammer article went up today with my list in it, and they were like, "Oh, the weird thing here is the Lord of Virulence that goes solo because Typhus is obviously with the Death Shroud Terminators," and I'm like, "No, that's wrong. Typhus goes solo." Well, it depends. It depends on the matchup, really. But every game I had here, Typhus ended going solo, and Lord of Virulence would be with the Death Shroud Terminators. A single Biologist Putrefier and a single Blightspawn. They would be accompanying the 10-man Plague Marine Brick. I realise I have missed the main man himself off this list, Mr. Mortarion. So please imagine a big spooky Mothman on that list. I am very good at my job. We have 1 unit of 10 Plague Marines with all the bells and whistles. So triple Plasma Gun, 5 heavy Plague weapons, 2 Biotic weapons, stuff like that. All sorts of stuff, some light launchers, etc. My usual 10-man loadout. We got 1 5-man Plague Marine squad, which just went all melee. So we went 2 Biotic, 3 heavy Plague weapon, and a Plasma Gun on the Sergeant. A unit of 10 Cultists, which, oh boy, did I miss these guys. Scout is really good. So to not have them here, I was like, I'm glad to have them back. And hello to James Wilson in the chat as well. James Wilson did attend the event as well. He came with his Custodes. Sadly, didn't get to beat him up. But James Wilson is also a fellow survivor of the Toilet Dice incident. In fact, he won that event after the Toilet Dice incident. So me and him were the first and second in that event. We're brave and we're strong survivors of the Toilet Dice. But yeah, then we had a large unit of 6 Death Shroud Terminators, which is quite uncommon for me. I usually run like minimum size squads. I had a Chaos Rhino, and then we had a bit of a parking lot. So we had 2 Plague Burst Crawlers rocking the Flamers on each one. We had 2 Predator Destructors with Last Cannon Sponsons, and a unit of 3 Nurglings. So this list, in general, is very different to what I normally run. And I will get this out of the way right now. This list is good, but my god, it is not for me. I am not good with this list. I hazard to say shit with this list. So one thing I want to get across in this stream is even in the same factions, people have different playstyles, and that's very evident if you've listened to the podcast. Will's a very aggressive player. Dave plays pretty good. He's really good at using a lot of tanks. I myself, the thing I'm really good at is trading and infantry play. As you can see in here, a big lack of trading and infantry play, and boy did I feel it. So we did manage to get the 4-1. I think this is a good list, and if you're into these kind of lists, it is a powerful list, and it does show power. You will see power in the games as we go through them. But for me personally, this is not my style of list. But it was good to play something different, and it definitely proves that there's still things to learn. And it also proves that when people are like, "Oh, you could be the best Death Guard player," like even in that single statement, like I'll never be as good as someone that plays vehicles a lot because it's just not my jam. So even with like a faction, you'll have different people that play different lists better than everyone else. But it's a good list. It did do the job. But no, I'm not saying it's shit, David in chat. 4-1 is obviously I'm happy with, but I know when I'm playing like good, and I know when I'm like, okay, I'm playing it well, but I'm also playing it no way near as good as it could be. So this list here, if you fancy giving it a go, do give it a go. It is very strong, but understand you have to have a mindset of using lots of vehicles and understanding parking lots, and you definitely can't do trading very well. But solid list, as we will see. So, as you can see, what's different to my usual, lots of tanks, lots and lots of tanks. 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, 2 Predators, Mortarion, which is like a big monster tank slash. Only the 1 Rhino. We've also got a Fetid Bloat Drone in there as well. Did I forget to put him in too? I'm awful. Yeah, I had a Fetid Bloat Drone as well. But there's a lot less MSU than I'm used to. So I usually run 4 squads of 5 Plague Marines. For trading, I have my Death Shroud split up into 2 squads of 3. I have units of Nurglings, 2 of them instead normally. I don't have any of that here. So there's a lot less trading, a lot less MSU, but a lot more damaging packages. So a 6-man Death Shroud hits obviously a lot harder than a 3-man Death Shroud. And we went even further into that with stuff like a Lord of Virulence for the reroll wounds, plus the Living Plague on him to give the contagion out. We've got Morty's back in the list, so obviously that's very different to playing Mortius, is bringing back Morty. And with Morty, we'll see the power of Morty. We're also going to see the problems and the reason that I was happy to play Mortius for a while, which is the feeling that you have to glue yourself to Morty, which is both good and bad. But you'll see that come into play. But one thing this list definitely has is a lot more damage, especially if the stars align and people stand in the open and you get line of sights on things. This thing can hurt like really badly. This can really rip through people, as we'll see in some of the games. But overall, it's a very different style of list than what we're used to. So let's get into it. So this is our first round one. So this is the one we had a couple days to sort of preemptively get used to. We see the list in the UK a couple days early. So you get your first pairing and you have like a day or two to sort of think about it. So we have Nick Elback, Nickelback, comedy. Nickelback here has brought himself Tau Empire. So we've got a lovely game against the Tau. He's got a Cadre Fireblade, so he's got some buffing for his breach teams. He's got Commander Shadow Sun, who's the lone opt, gives real ones to wound, regens some command points, I think, as well. Cold Star Commander to make the Crisis Brick a lot harder to pin down, a lot faster. Get assault weapons. 2 Devilfish with the 10 breaches to sort of carry them around. Yeah, I know the name's great, isn't it? 2 broadsides with railguns, which are obviously quite scary. We have the full 6-man Crisis Ion Brick, the most terrifying thing in the Tau player's arsenal. We have 2 Ion Ghost Keels, which are the most annoying thing in the Tau player's arsenal, because that is a big 2-up save monster with lone op. That is a pain in the ass to kill. Is Riptide with the Ion, which are now dirt cheap, like 140 points. It's kind of mad. A unit of 3 stealth suits. Piranha for just doing some mission play, marker lighting stuff. Tetras, so people who don't know what Tetras are a Forge World model, which if they guide a unit, not only do they give that unit +1 to hit and ignores cover, they also give it full rerolls to hit, which when the Crisis suit's getting sustained 2 on the Ion shots, and each suit has 9 shots, that's a lot of shots, and that really hurts. And 5 Vespid Stingwings to sort of like finish it off. So, alright, let's see if this works. So, we're back to this. People seem to like this, so we're going to go through this again. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it again. Now, I have found a way that we can actually keep it full screen for you guys, so we don't have to have like the border and a lot of wasted space. So hopefully we can keep this full screen for you guys. I can modify stuff in the background and move around stuff, but you should just see the screen there and things moving around, okay? So, we're against Tau Empire. Now in this game, I actually don't end up taking minus weapon skill and ballistic skill. There is a reason for this, and the reason for that is this table and this terrain setup on Glasshammer Gaming terrain. On Dawn of War, there's a lot of line of sights, as you can see, and a Tau player really wants those line of sights, so they're going to shoot the crap out of me. So the chances of me getting over the board quickly and getting a contagion on them, probably not great, especially since I don't have many trading units. So we're going to try and maximize our damage. We want to kill them as much as possible and as quick as possible. So in this game, we're actually going to take -1 save, which I know sounds crazy, but bear with me. So I'm going to shrink my head a little bit, just so you guys can see the full picture there. There we go, in the corner. Okay, so in this mission, I am going to take... so there we go. I'm going to be taking fixed objectives. Anyone that doesn't know about Tau, if you go into Tau, playing fixed against Tau is kind of unfair. Bring It Down is basically a free 20 points, because people don't know is the Crisis Battlesuits count as vehicles. So every single Crisis Battlesuit model you kill is 2 victory points on Bring It Down. So killing the unit plus the commander is 14 out of 20 points on Bring It Down, which is kind of silly. Given that the Tetras are also 2 points each, and the Piranhas 2 points each, and the Ghost Keels are like 3 points each, and it's really easy to get 20 on Bring It Down versus Tau. So on this mission, I believe we go for... Let me get my phone, just double check it. We definitely go for Bring It Down, I know that one for sure. And we're also going to go for... Where is my app? There we go, Tabletop Battles against Nick Elback. So we go for Bring It Down, yeah, and Teleport Homers. So, which I know is a bit daft given how open the middle is, but I had a plan for it, you'll see. But we got it covered, don't worry. Now the mission is Take and Hold, so that means you basically have to hold the 3 objectives in No Man's Land, and you get 5 points for each. Now, given how open No Man's Land is on this map, that's going to be a bit of a tall ask. But thankfully, it's as open for us as it is open for them, and we have quite a bit of shooting. So we start deploying. My opponent does win the roll-off, but he lets me deploy first. Now, to give Nick his due, this is Nick's first tournament. He plays at our club. He started learning, getting into competitive play, but this is his first tournament. So he's going to learn a lot from this game, and he was a great opponent. He was great fun. He took it in stride, and he learned from this game, as you'll see, and he went on, and I think he managed to end up 3-2 in the end of this event, which for your first ever tournament is excellent. So well done, Nick, and can we everyone give Nick a good thumbs up there for that one? So well done, bud. I believe this is a knife setup, Saltire, which is kind of annoying, but we're playing on it. We're making it work. Do we check? Oh, hi Don Hooson, welcome to the chat, bud. And yeah, Martin, I tried to improve it a little bit, give it a little bit of borders around stuff to try and make it a bit easier to read. Right, so I deploy first. So the first thing I do is I drop Nurglings in this building here with Infiltrate. Now, Nurglings can't walk through this wall, and this wall is not within 6 of the middle for teleport homers. The reason I'm putting these Nurglings here is completely to stop my opponent from doing stuff with the Ghost Keel. I don't want the Ghost Keel to be able to basically deploy behind this wall here, because that's going to be very annoying to deal with, and it's going to stop my Nurglings. So my opponent gets a Ghost Keel, and he plops one right there. Which is, to be fair, what I was expecting, but thankfully it's on that side. So, in response, I'm going to put a unit of cultists right here. So, all I'm going to do with these cultists, we're going to use the scout move just to get right in this corner, and we figured by exposing 3 cultists out, we can actually score teleport homers from behind this L. So, that's going to be our plan, and if we get lucky, we're going to be able to do that for 2 turns with these cultists, okay? So our cultists go there. Our opponent then drops a Devilfish here, to which we are kind of okay with. That's fine with us. We're kind of expecting a Devilfish here and a Devilfish here, or like here. And we then respond in kind by doing a very smart play called, I'm going to put a Plague Bus Crawler here. Hidden out of line of sight. Sorry, here. Yeah, hidden out of line of sight. Very stereotypical play. Anyone can kind of see it happening. Put it there. I have to let go of it before it appears. So we're gonna put a Plague Bus Crawler behind this wall. It's a neutral play. What I'm waiting for my opponent to do is to drop the broadsides and the riptide, because they're the big threats. Okay. So then we have he drops his broadsides behind this L here, and that is a pretty big thing for us, because now we know these broadsides are down. They only move 5 inches, so they go left or they go right, which means now we understand the firing arc of these broadsides is going to be down here or down here. So knowing that, we're going to put 1 Predator just behind here. So what that's going to do is that's going to basically check the, so it's just going to be behind this wall. It seems to be lagging a little bit, the delay on the edit. But by being behind this wall here, we're also going to get line of sight up here. We're going to be nice and safe, but we understand we can play to the left side of the field where the broadsides are really going to struggle to get an angle unless they really expose themselves. So from there, our opponent's going to drop Tetras up on the back of their lines, up there, and then we're going to have another Tetra, basically mirroring, as well as Devilfish. I'm just going to go through the plot now, because the real big decision's been made, which was the broadside. So we go another Plague Bus Caller behind this wall here. Mortarion joins them as well. So Mortarion's just at an angle to sort of hide everything. We get another Predator in this building. Typhus is in reserves in this one. The Rhino is going to come down in the bottom right corner. It is a very open layout, and it kind of hurts, I won't lie. So the Rhino comes to the bottom right corner. And then we have 5 man in it at the moment, and we're actually going to deploy the 10 man behind it, but flat against the obscuring terrain with 1 row in and the back row behind, so that the models are basically immune to being shot from the tower player, because we really don't want to get shot. The images are moving over, just being very delayed, which is kind of annoying. If it keeps doing it, we'll go back to the original, or we'll just do it live. You'll obviously see a bit more a bit more crap on the screen, but it might actually be better for you to just keep up with it a little simpler. Well, if it keeps doing it, that'll put the best way. So we've got a 5-man inside the Rhino, because the 5-man is going to come out and basically be there to just deny some primary, and then the 10-man is going to instantly take the spot inside the Rhino. Time for some reserves. 5-man's inside the Rhino. We put our flighted boat drone on our flank because our opponent at this point has put his Riptide like here. So we're pretty safe with the boat drone where it is. And yeah, this is very delayed. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just to make it better, would you rather me just have it like this? It's going to be a little smaller on the actual screen, but make it as big as I can. But it will be much more quick and fluid and up to date. So hopefully that'll be better for you guys. So what we're doing here is, where's my mouse going? Right. So he's gonna he puts his big crisis brick behind his wall with Shadow Sun as well. Just where's Shadow Sun at? Top right. What has happened to your screen? My screen for some reason has tiny minimized itself. Just give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. Let's refresh the screen. Oh joy, it has gone all wrong. Oh, what is going on? What's that say? So guys, my mouse has literally disappeared from my screen. Oh, there we go. Got it back. Okay, give me. Sorry, 1 second about that. That was kind of embarrassing a little bit. There we go. Got it back. Got it back. Got it back. Got it back. Okay, I'll return the screen capture to window. There we go. Try that again. You go away. You okay with that, guys? Can you see that now? Hopefully that's a bit better. Is that any good, guys? Is that all right? See us to watch with. Just let us know before I carry on here. I'm a bit gutted that the other way didn't work, but hey ho, you'll have to deal with the white borders and outline and whatnot. Get rid of that. I didn't. What the? What? The thing's been stupid and it's really peeing me off. Right, there we go.
Could you keep tapping out?
I'm not even tapping out. It's just being a pain. Right. Okay. There we go. Huzzah! Yeah, I know the joys of streaming, mate. The joys. Oh, thank you very much for the add more members before he notices. Thank you very much for the 10 gifted subs there, Chris Filata. Massively appreciate it. For those who just got gifted a sub, go and check out the community tab, and you can find a link to the Discord. If you link your YouTube account to your Discord account, you get access to the special members benefits in there. That means you can enter the giveaway, which we're doing later this week. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, you gift membership so Aiden can afford a better app. Mortari's Muffin Company with 20 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, mate. We have actually just used some membership money to buy a second monitor now, so I will pick that up tomorrow, and this will be a lot easier next time. But thank you very much, everyone. And also thank you to Kyle Rass for also becoming a member of a Plague Marine. Thank you so much, everyone. I massively appreciate it. Right, let's get this round done. So, the stealth suits infiltrate here, and the piranha joins these guys up here. The second ghost keel also just comes in around up here, and Shadow Sun is back up here. Hopefully that's all now live and up to speed. Man, that's a lot of memberships. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, so we rolled for the first turn, and we do actually manage to get, I think we actually, let me have a check. This is why it's so good to have apps, guys. Tabletop Battles app just helps so much to check who went first and who went anywhere. Who won the roll for first turn? It's the only thing I can't remember. Yeah, it was my opponent. Yes. Yeah, I remember what happened now. So my opponent goes first. So my opponent's gone tactical. So he's going to have to be running around the map doing certain things. So I don't scout these guys right into the open. I just scout them into the corner behind the wall. And we're basically going to keep everything nice and safe. So this devilfish comes on down here onto the objective, and he's going to deploy 10 breaches out because he really wants to kill some Nurglings. This piranha as well comes and joins in. Now, again, remember this is Nick's first event, so one thing Nick's going to learn for bloody hell, Miracle Matthew. Oh my God, more holy shit! That's another. Chris, thank you as well for coming to play Marine. But also thank you so much, Nigel Matthew, for the 5 gifted subs. Holy crap, guys, this is kind of crazy. Thank you so much, and hello, Nigel Matthew. What's one big name? You're getting me all flustered, boys. I'm gonna forget what's going on in a second. So. I massively appreciate it. Yeah, so if you got your gifted a membership, do go and check out the community tab for link to the Discord. There's plenty of benefits in the Discord channel. We've got some new things coming up we're going to talk about. We also have, maybe yeah, I reckon I can say it. We have next week an episode that's going to go up a bit earlier for members, but we actually managed to get Liam VSL on. So you can look forward to that one, guys. So, okay. Back to the game. I know all views we play Marines. So he comes in, he does a lot of shooting, and these Nurglings actually somehow magically live on 1 wound, which is kind of wild. One base on 1 wound lives, but the opponent has exposed a fair bit for it. He hasn't really done too much else elsewhere. I think the Ghost Kills does something like this. Everything else kind of just shuffles up here, and this Stealth Suit team walks onto the point, and the Ghost Keel walks onto the point. I think he had Cleanse, so I think the Piranha cleanses, the Ghost Keel cleanses, everyone else just sort of holds firm as it is. So, yeah, yeah, so many people in the chat. Yeah, I was really happy to get the interview with Liam, so you can still look forward to that one. 69 watching, nice. Yeah, Liam VSL is a bit of a nut job when it comes to the game. He's really good. really good. So yeah, my opponent's opening gambit, and this is my opponent's going to learn about, and one thing he does take away from this is overexposing, overextending. So we're going to basically play a bit of a game called Punish the Opponent. So this bloke drone here, who deployed right in the line, actually managed to fly all the way up and gets a nice cheeky advance off as well. And he sits in this corner, and he's putting his contagion onto the Devilfish, the Breaches, and not just the Piranha, because we're only on a 3-inch contagion range at the moment. So my Predators are going to basically... I actually move my Predators this way, just peeking a turret out, literally. Just a little bit of the turret. Literally the tip of a gun. Morty comes across to here, in the middle. Now, I'm not too worried about Morty at the moment. Even the broadsides can't shoot him, because I've put him at a weird angle where his wings can dodge this, unless the broadsides come all the way around, which will then make them vulnerable. But the Riptide can get shots on him, but again, that's just something I'm okay to get shot by a Riptide. Nurgle Matthew, thank you for coming to remember yourself, mate. It seems to dodge gifted memberships like I'm alone up. I'm not actually sure how you check if you've got gifted memberships on. Maybe one of the fellas in chat can help you. But you have to turn on a setting, I believe. Hi Brian, how you doing, mate? So at this point, the Plague's Crows also just shuffle up to sort of be with Mortarion for that 6-inch aura bubble. The cultists extend outwards, but only by the 3 models that I needed to get within 6 for the teleport homers, and the rest stay behind. We launch a 5-man out of the Rhino to about here, and their entire job is basically going to be to charge and kill the stealth suits, and then take him off the primary, so we can hold his primary score to just his his home objective. So all we're really sacrificing here potentially is, because of the position of this drone, it's pretty safe from all the shooting, so the drone should be okay. The Plague Marines are probably going to die, and the cultists might die, but that's not too bad if we can trade decently. So we put all of our firepower, so all our auto cannons fire, and we actually aim at the Tetras, because the Tetras are going to give the Tau Army full rerolls to hit, and that's not something we want them to have access to. So the las cannons are going to fly down at the Tetras, and the auto cannons are going to fly down at the Tetras. And we do manage to actually pop both of them. That's going to give us 4 points on Bring It Down, and also pick up 2 very important units. Then we managed to get some shots off into the Mortarion's just in range to get his Psychic off on these Breaches with the D6 plus 3 and the Blast on it. It manages to pick up quite a lot of them. And then the Heavy Sluggers from the Plagueburst Crawls, because again the -1 saves just ripping these poor guys apart. At this point, they are stood on here, by the way. That's why I do have line of sight. They're not behind it. They're stood on the terrain. These guys get ripped apart by all that. Now, I think I put, because of the Tetras dying, I think the last cannon auto cannon picked up and left one on like 2 wounds. My second Predator managed to get to fire at it was either the back end of the Piranha, I think it was. Yeah, it's the back end of the Piranha. We managed to pop the Piranha because I asked him his OC, and the bloat drone manages to out OC this thing, which is quite nice, or at least hold it to evens, which is fine with us. So at this point, then we go to the fight phase. These guys charge into the stealth suits, manage to kill that guy, and they consolidate just onto the point. There's no point me tagging the Ghost Kill because he's given the upgrade for fallback and shoot at this point, so we don't really want to do that. So my opponent basically lost his Piranha, he lost his Tetris, he lost a Breacher team, and didn't really gain too much for it. So my opponent goes for his turn again. So turn 2 for my opponent. He gets his... He doesn't out. He asked me here. My opponent asked me, should I get these breaches out? And I said, if you get those breaches out, mate, I will then get my 10 man out and wipe them out, or I'll just mortar them to death. So I advise him not to. Instead, what I advise him to do is just to bring his Tetras round, mark these guys, and you can probably pick them up with the Ghost Keel and the secondary weapons from the Riptide. Again, we always be a good opponent. Always sort of like be nice to your opponent. Don't, especially if it's their first event, don't go mega hard on them. Don't try and stomp them into the ground and ruin the dreams. Be nice, be considerate. So here I'm helping my opponent because I know they're going to die anyway. They're not going to survive, but just making sure he doesn't make a silly mistake such as trading another unit of breaches for 5 Plague Marines. So he brings the Ghost Keel down here. He then brings his broadsides round because he does want to get shots on Mortarion. The Ghost Key, the Cold Star Commander Crisis Blob moves out to here to get line of sight on the Bloat Drone. Shadow Sun follows, and then my opponent basically wants to kill by Bloat Drone. He wants to kill these Plague Marines. He wants the broadside to try and get shots into Mortarion, which he just can. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, I in response to this drop a ooh, where's my thing? I've got to quickly find my Death Shroud. I've missed my Death Shroud off. Silly me. There they are. So let's close that a second. So I've got a Death Shroud now. Woohoo! We rapid ingress our Death Shroud in behind this wall. So our entire plan here is basically that we want our Death Shroud to be able to come out here and threaten into the brick of broadsides. We'll try and get rid of those broadsides because they're the biggest threat to Mortarion. So we managed to drop in here with rapid ingress. And when we move after the Ghost Kill, because these guys are more in line, it's like I think it's a 6-inch charge from the corner into the base of that guy. So we're just going to put them there as a precaution. Again, nothing can shoot them, nothing can threaten them. Nice and safe, and they're setting up our next turn play. So then our opponent does his shooting phase. The poor Bloat Drone gets absolutely obliterated by a million Crisis shots. The Plague Marines die to the Riptide and the Ghost Keel. And the Cultists actually get shot by the SMS systems of these Crisis suits. And he kills 4, but that's perfectly fine for us because it leaves us behind the wall with, I think after the other SMS, like 5 guys behind the wall. Which again, next turn we're just going to rinse and repeat that to score another teleport home. We're so happy with that. And I just remembered, no, the Bloat Drone actually didn't die, which is quite cool. The Bloat Drone definitely did not die. So what did he actually shoot the Crisis at? Because I know he shot the Crisis at something. Oh no, yeah, he shot them at the Bloat Drone, but he didn't actually managed to kill it. He had a really bad turn of rolling, which is quite actually grim. He rolled really hot on the hits and then failed a lot of the wounds because he needs 5s to wound it because it's only strength 8, which is quite good for us. And the Blood Drone actually managed to miraculously survive. Again, do apologise, this is all off memory. It's quite hard to remember your game point by point perfectly. So he fire and fades the Crisis brick back over here into safety, which is understandable. He takes some pot shots at Morty, nothing connects. He hits with one railgun, he hits with both railgun shots. He gets a wound on him, but I managed to pass the invulnerable, so that's okay. These definitely die, I know that for sure. But what this means is in my turn, this is where sort of the utility of the Bloat Drone comes in. The Bloat Drone just sort of skims up here, and basically this Bloat Drone with the advance managed to get in here, and this Bloat Drone's just hiding behind this wall. He's basically going to be our teleport almost for the last couple turns. So our fellas come out, Cultists again, they fully expose themselves. Again, get another teleport homies, which is great for us. The Death Shroud take up their position in the corner. And now we want to be aggressive to our opponent. Now, I know exactly what's going to happen the second these Death Shroud come out. The Crisis is going to kill him next turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to move Morty up, and we're going to move the Plague Bus Crawlers and the Predators to such a way that basically they can be there to respond. So there's quite a big build-up of vehicles, and this is where I suck with vehicle armies. My vehicle movement is bobbins. It's not good. You'll see this quite a lot. I get like car park jammed a lot. It's not great, but it's what happens. You know, it's hard to do much with. But I try my best. Now, this Rhino actually just pulls out and does an advance, and I actually managed to just, cause I nibbed it out the side of the first turn to get some shots at the stealth suits. So we're nice and we drive straight out onto there in advance, because his OC is equal to our OC. These guys are inside now, and we're okay here. We are happy chilling with this. This Ghost Keel here actually is here from last turn, because I remember because Typhus drops in here to put some spells into it. Well, I drop some mortal wounds into it. So this turn we get our last cannons here. We fire, we pick up this devilfish. Again, we're just denying the primary. My Nurglings have walked onto it because it is stickied from the bloat drone last turn, which is quite nice. They're not doing anything. I ain't got cleanse or anything, but they exist. And then all our shooting, we managed to, from the top of the Rhino, don't shoot anything because we've advanced. We're happy with that. If he pops the Rhino, we're fine with that, but hopefully he's going to come deal with the middle bit. And the Cultist is going to do our homers again for the turn. Not actually much shooting happens this turn. The fellas here come out to here. They do the charge into the broadsides, and they do manage to pick them all up, and we even managed to get a cheeky consolidate onto the midpoint, which is going to deny the primary again here. So my opponent's getting no primary again at this point. So my opponent's turn 3, he obviously then has to react, so he comes around. As he comes around, we do the Overwatch with all the flamers, and we actually managed to kill 2 suits, which is actually pretty damn good for us. So quite happy with that. So he's got 4 suits and a commander. The Ghost Keel sort of moves down because he has to score engage on all fronts, so he comes to this corner. This Ghost Keel comes along because he actually wants to put as much damage as my main units. He leaves this Rhino, which is weird. This was like distraction Rhino. I was hoping he was going to just pop that and stay there and let Morty come up the middle. But he actually lets this happen. He then does pull out the Tetras, so like here, so we can see stuff. The Devilfish comes out to contest the point because we've got equal OC. Which is fine and fair enough. That's a pretty good move. I'm still inside. He's still inside, just contesting me. And Shadow Sun also comes up the squad, leaves this bloat drone to hide behind this wall because she couldn't get an angle on it. So he opens up. These cultists get picked up by some SMS. My Death Shroud get dropped to just the Lord of Virulence from the Crisis, Shadow Sun, and Ghost Keel. And then the Riptide's Plasmas pick him up. So I do lose my Death Shroud, which is quite a big loss. But again, we're okay with that. It's not the worst. It's fine. This fella here is doing something. I think he's doing homers from the middle, so he can't shoot Typhus, which is fine. The Riptide and this Ghost Keel open up into Mortarion. I managed to take like 4 wounds off him. Mortarion is actually really tough, which was quite nice to see. So my opponent was debating to fire and fade back behind this point, but he was like, no, I've got to get aggressive now. And he made a bit of a mistake. He actually fire and faded because he wanted to make sure he held a primary aggressively towards me. This would prove to be fatal. But again, he learned. He's all learning. It's his first event. He's learning from this, but he'll learn very quickly. Don't go near the Death Guard. So my next turn, we hop out the Rhino, and with our combined shooting plus grenade plus mortars and a boil blight play, we actually pop the Devilfish, and the guys get out ready for the charge. And because the battle shocked, because they automatically get battle shocked once you get out of a vehicle that's destroyed, they can't even overwatch. So these Plague Marines are about to absolutely maul this squad here. Mortarion moves up, the vehicles all move up, getting into those ranges. The Spitters are now within range of the Ghost Keel here. The autocannons are in rapid fire range, and the absolute massacre of Bloodbath begins. So the Crisis suits get absolutely destroyed by Predator autocannons. It's pretty grim. These guys pop after popping the thing and killing the thingamajigger, the doodad, the Pathfinders. Their contagion is spread to the Tetras. So we actually managed to get one of the players actually to shoot a Tetra. I managed to get really lucky and drop it quite low. Typhus moved through the wall, did a smite to finish that bugger off. So that one's gone. And then the las cannons plus the spitters actually managed to dent the Riptide very, very low, and then Morty got a nice decent charge off and managed to pick up the Riptide here. This little doodad would then sit here for the rest of the game and do teleport homers behind this wall because he's in their deployment zone, so he would then keep scoring that, which is really, really nice. So my opponent's obviously now, he's obviously, he understands he's lost, so he just asked me what's the most points I can get. He managed to pull a deploy, teleport homers, and a behind enemy lines, which is, not deploy, teleport homers, it was a, I don't really catch me outpost, something like that, but he wants to come into my deployment, which is fine with him. This guy gets assassinated, he wants to come down and just try and kill Typhus, he comes here, he wants to try and kill Typhus, and then Shadow Sun basically just retreats back here. I've just said to him, look, just hold your home objective, at least you get points every turn for that, because I'm not going to push it, there's no point, I'm not going to waste my time to come all the way around, I've got all the points I need. He whiffs on the fusion, and Typhus managed to live on 2 wounds, which is quite nice for us. The Plague Marines then obviously next turn come and maul this guy to death. Typhus, Mortarion comes home, these guys pop their head around with a Predator, and actually managed to pick him up without even needing to charge him, which made me actually kind of sad in a way, because I really wanted to actually just like murder it in melee with Mortarion. And again, this guy would just teleport Homer. And at this point, obviously it's pretty much over, but we've got homers for the rest of the game up here. Opponent's been tabled pretty much, so we've got max on Bring It Down, and we do actually manage to snag ourselves a 93-66 victory, which is quite nice. So happy days with that. Let me actually go full screen now, so get back to normal. Here we go. Sorry about all the technical difficulties at the start of that. But yeah, as you can see, we held the primary quite nicely. We minimized his primary that he could get. We just maxed Bring It Down by turn 4, and then deployed teleport homers, 2 coalists, and the drone did the rest of them in the back of his line. So a really nice solid victory. But again, Nickelback learned a lot from this, and he would take it into his future games, and he managed to come away with a 3-2. So well done to Mr. Nickelback. So next game, Tyranids. Again, not really what I wanted. I'm here to kill Custodes really, but I'll take Tyranids. Monster Mash Tyranids. So we have a Hive Tyrant, a Neuro Tyrant, 2 Neurolictors, 3 Exocrines, 2 Maleceptors, 2 Tyrannofexes with the Acid Sprayers, a Non-Emissary, Biovore, and a Ripper Swarm. So, very different to what I'm used to playing against for Tyranids. The Tyrannofexes are actually a pain in the ass. I don't know if you know what their Flamer is, but it's D6 plus 6 shots, Strength 7, AP 2 damage. It's pretty grim, and that's got an 18-inch Overwatch range, so you have to be really careful of these damn things. But we go into it, and we're playing, this is the mission you can see here. Yeah, he did 3-2 in his first time, he did really well, so I'm super happy for him. So, this is the mission we've got here, and as you can see, the objectives are literally all in the goddamn open. There is literally nowhere to hide. There is, James, you were at this event. What did you think of the terrain, bud? Especially this mission. There is nowhere to hide. So this one is an interesting one. So let me get up the actual mission so we can see which one it is. Just make sure we get all the information as accurately as we can. So this against Alex. So this was priority target, so it's the one where you score a big chunk at the end if you manage to get on the points. So going second has a big advantage in this mission. And did I manage to go second? Let's find out. Can we open it up, please? There we go. Who went first? I think I went first. Yeah, I went first, so my opponent gets the advantage. Yay! Yeah, same, James. I wish I'd looked at the pack. No, this event is actually using glass hammer terrain, but it's definitely interesting. What's even more interesting is the top, the windows above floor level on these ruins are actually open, and we had a lot of Necron players bringing Tesseract vaults because they're so tall they could just shoot into these squares completely. It was pretty grim, I won't lie. But onto the deployment. So we get told to drop first, so we managed to put the Nurglings in here. We measure it. If a Nurgling comes around this corner and up by an inch, it's actually within 6 to do teleport home. So I'm like, okay, cool, we can do that. So we put a Nurgling unit in there. My opponent then puts his big beasties down. I forgot his bloody Neurolictors. Oh, I'm so shite. So Ripper Swarms and Neurolictors for today. He puts a Neurolictor here. Comes back to myself. I actually put Cultists here. Because I'm hoping to scout into this corner. The reason I want to do this is because these guys are going to be my little contagion buggers. We're going to sit behind this wall an inch away, and all we're going to do is project contagion out onto this objective all game. So then my opponent decides, right, first Execrete, pop here, cool. I then go with my, where do I put my Rhino? It was Playbus Crawler. I just play a real safe one. Playbus Crawler, boop there. He goes for his second Execrete, boop there. Typhus again in reserves as always. Then I'm going to go for a Predator, boop there. And basically, we're just going to deploy, and again, you can see this car park forming, which is a bad habit I've got to get out of. He doesn't have any real long-range shooting, so I'm not particularly scared of it. We got that there. The Rhino just sits behind the Obscurian here, just so we can move into it, basically. And then we have a Plague Marine squad, again, just basically with the Rhino. There's not really much long-range shooting on their end, so we're okay with that. And then the Bloat Drone just goes right here. He has Malaceptor Tyrannofex with his nasty Flamer. He goes another T-Fex up here, another Malaceptor here. The Hive Tyrant joins them. The Neuro Tyrant joins these. Another X-Creen goes up here. The non-emissary picks this objective to be his special one, so he's going to get special things for that. And he deploys his single Ripper Swarm in the back corner because this list has problem screening. Okie dokie. So I also need to get the Biovo. I have a Biovo. Where are you? There, Biovo. Haha. Got Biovo. There we go. The Biovo is in strike reserves for him. I win first turn. So all I do is just scout into this corner here. We get the Nurglings to come round onto there, and they're just going to do teleport homers. This Rhino just drives into here with the Plague Marines swiftly following. The Bloat Drone moves and gets an advance and manages to get just behind this wall over here. My tanks all come out, and with Mortarion Real Ones to wound, we're just going to put some shots down at this Malaceptor. We don't kill it, we manage to drop it down to like 6 wounds or something like that. It's not, not much damage, but it's something. We're not too scared about getting the, the kickback at this range. So not much happens this turn. I think we took Bring It Down again. We took Bring It Down homers again. So we've managed to score our homers for the turn, which we're happy with. It was Bring It Down homers. Yeah. And my opponents took Tactical. So my opponent in his first turn, he moves this Tyrannofex down. He moves this Malaceptor a bit. So these are creating some pressure here. The X-Creens are chilling at the back. Oh, we mortar off this Ripper. We don't want it there. We just want to make sure he has to put this X-Creen in the back corner for the entire game. So we mortar that thing off. The Neurotyrant moves up. T-Fex sort of just takes a position to overwatch the middle. So does the Execrete. The Malaceptor moves on down. The Norn comes onto his objective to get his 4-up Feel No Pain. The Swarm Lord moves with his gun sticking out, and this Execrete moves. So, really, all he's trying to do is get shots. And he shoots a crap ton of shots at me, kills the Nurgling that's there, but 2 Nurglings, or at least 1 Nurgling survives, so we've got another teleport almost for next turn. I do have to CP it to auto-pass morale because he's on 1 guy, but it's totally worth it. He shoots down. I think he drops a Predator to 7. Again, not really too scary. Again, we knew this was happening, so we're actually okay with this at this point. So then, what we do is, it comes back around to our turn. Now, we can't get the 10-man out from behind this wall because the Tyrannofex's Acid Sprayer is pretty damn grim. He's putting Neurolix from the middle as well. So what we decided to do is we're going to try and bait out the Acid Spray. So we get a 5-man Plague Marine squad out of the Rhino, and we walk straight up to this Neurolictor, and I say, do you want to overwatch me with either of these Flamers? And he's like, no, because he knows the second he does, I'll get the 10-man out the Rhino and kill this Tyrannofex here. He lets me basically kill his Neurolictor for free. So we use the grenade stratagem, and then we charge that and kill it later on. This little Bloat Drone here has managed to sticky this objective, so we're quite happy with that. And then this little Bloat Drone will then come and go pop into the combat with this guy here. Even with the crap gun, we shoot the little plink plink launcher at the... I think we managed to get a line set this Malaceptor's front end because it's got 36-inch range. And And it actually manages to do a couple wounds to it. I think it does 2 damage to it. But mainly we charge into T-Fex because we want to lock it up because it's terrible in combat. So we're okay with that. Because we've managed to lock it up in combat, we've had our guys come out in the wall. So they're preparing for this. So then they charge out into the T-Fex. This T-Fex is now getting double teamed. All the shooting here manages to kill this fella here. And in the movement phase, we basically just shuffle around. We just moved up. We made a bit more pressure here. Neurolictor gets picked up by grenades plus melee from this squad here. And then the Terran effects gets dropped to 2 wounds. A bit annoying, this Marsept is given an aura of -1 to hit, which is quite nasty on heavy plague weapons, but it is what it is. So we killed a Malaceptor. We dropped this thing to 2 wounds, I think it is. So it's quite low. And we managed to damage this Exocrine down to 5 from all the last cannons plus shooting. That didn't need to go into because we finished off the Malaceptor. So now we just need to grab the Death Shroud again. Death Shroud, here we go. Because they're going to be coming in at some point. So, our opponent moves up. This Malaceptor comes down here. He charges the rest of these Nurglings that are basically sticking out here. The T-Fex stays in combat. He's going to spray the Plague Marines he's in combat with. Makes sense. The Neurotyrant's just trying to screen out from the Death Shroud that are about to come in. He keeps his non-emissary to keep the point. Execution stays still. Not much movement happens, to be honest. He does obviously kill this squad here. He does kill the Nurglings in close combat. I have rapid ingress my Death Shroud behind this wall because he's charged these guys, so he's nice and close to my Death Shroud here. The Plague Marines do take a lot of damage, but they do survive, actually. Big Guns Never Tire doesn't work in Overwatch because it basically has to be... Big Guns Never Tire only works in your own shooting phase. So it doesn't work in your opponent's charge, movement phase, etc. It only works in your own shooting phase as part of the out of sequence, out of phase rules. Aiden, your legend, I tried my Death Guard first time at RTC Sunday, sorry. Went 2-1 personal best ever. Well done, mate. Well done, Runar. Congratulations to you 2-1, mate. Well done, mate. Nice work. What did you take, by the way? What was your list like? So, it comes back to our turn. We've lost a lot of Plague Marines, but they do manage to pick this guy up in the swing back in this turn. We've lost quite a lot. This squad is quite reduced in power. So, the Death Shroud move out. We obviously intended to charge this Malaceptor. That's what we're trying to try and kill. We know we have to get aggressive with Mortarion now. So Mortarion comes up. The vehicles all start to follow him. The Predators. Again, I'm very bad at car parking. I really need to get better at it. The Bloat Drone flies up and manages to basically... I think we actually managed to tip into his deployment zone. You don't have to be wholly within for homers, just within. So this guy's going to start scoring his homers here, which is quite nice. The Plague Marine squad that is remaining just sort of falls back onto an objective. Want to just stay alive at this point because we're going to try and maybe last turn run through this wall with the Biological Fire and advance and get another homers. All the guns here, we're going to completely ignore this non-emissary. There is no point. Typhus drops down about... I think Typhus drops here. He drops... Where's Typhus drop? He drops for these guys, yeah. All the guns here pick up this Exocrine and actually manage to pick this fella here up as well, which is quite nice. The charge from the Death Shroud manages to pick up the Malaceptor as well, and they consolidate onto the midpoint. So, looking a little rough for my opponent now. He's not got many monsters left to play with. Here, he brings on his Biovore from Strat Reserves. It fires off, gets a teleport homer in my deployment zone. Not much I can really do about that. Is what it is. He decides to get aggressive with his non-emissary, charges into my Plague Burst Crawler. If anyone's ever seen a non-emissary make combat, that is the scariest monster that does nothing. It looks like it should be horrendous, and it should rip your tank apart. It's strength 9. It is so bad. It's so bad. So he tickles a Plague Burst Crawler, doesn't do anything. The High Tyrant pokes his head around to hold the objective. These guys move down, and the combined shooting with the -1 to hit kills like 3 Death Shroud. Actually quite good on the saves, to be honest. This Exocrine shoots at this Bloat Drone, drops him down to, I think it's like what, like it's like 2 wounds. He does 6 to him, I think. It's flat 3, so it's nice. It's like 4 wounds left. It's 10 wounds. So yeah, it drops into 1. Yeah, 3 go through. But he's still alive, which is quite nice. So at this point, we've not actually lost anything here. We're all okay. The playable scroll gets hit a bit. It's wounded. It's still alive though. So in my turn, I'm like, okay, non-emissary. Its ass is still on the subjective. It's still got 4 up in feel no pain. So just ignore that. The cultists bolt through the wall to get within contagion range of this biovore, of which the 2 mortars, now ignoring the -1 to hit penalty from combat because of Mortarion, managed to pick this dude up and get him out of the way, which is quite nice. All the predator shots plus the las cannons pick up the T-Fex because he can't make one of the shots. I roll a 7 on the damage for a las cannon, and my opponent says I'll make it 0 with the ability of the Tyrant effects, and I'm just like, no you won't, Morty's right there. So that guy explodes pretty gloriously. With the Overwatch threat out the way, the rest of the shots blink down this dude here, this Exocrine, getting quite low. The mortal wounds also chip it, I think it gets to 1 wound. We managed to get a charge off and finish that bugger off there. This guy has floated in here and started doing homers. So my opponent's pretty rough at this point. He then drops the playable scroll to 1 wound in melee. So again, 2 rounds of a non-emissary can't kill this guy. Pretty grim into the playable scroller. Swarm Lord, not Swarm Lord, Hive Tyrant moves out. He's just playing for points at this point. I think he got a cleanse. So he moves here, just cleanses it. After the non uses psychic to kill the cultists. This guy, he does get bring it down for his turn, which is quite cool. So he walks him forward, blows this thing up, and the non finally finishes off the Plague Scroll. So we get some good points actually for that. So we do the biologist move advance, managed to get a model in for teleport homers in the last turn. Morty goes and promptly sends this Swarm Lord plus all the shooting that's with it back to the Shadow Realm. So this guy goes poof like that. We actually put the last cannons down at the Exocrine, and we managed to double 6 it on the damage roll from one of the Predators and twat it for 14 damage, and it just goes pop, which made me really fucking laugh. It just felt like a bit like rubbing dirt in the wound, but it is what it is. And at that point, my opponent's just, I think he drew behind enemy lines, so at that point he just did, he like charged here, killed it, and then did overrun so he could get into my deployment to get some extra points. But that was basically that at the end of the game. Quite happy with that. As you can see, we managed to get good points on deploy homers. We managed to get a big turn to bring it down and just kill everything that we needed to kill there. And my opponent just couldn't score secondaries because with lists like this with lots of monsters, it's really hard to score any actions, etc. So I managed to get a win there. So happy days. So I'm going to take a quick drink for the fella in chat. So, round 3. Marcus Hinson, Tau again. So double Tau. Marcus is a very good player. He's a very good Tau player. He used to play for Team England. He wins a lot of events around here. Comes second, third a lot of the time. Podiums quite often. This is not what I wanted for my 3rd round event. This is a tough one. So we're going to see how it goes. So we got Commander Shadowsun, Crisis Commander with Ion Infusion, Cold Star Commander with Ion Burst Cannon. It's in, I think it's in the designer's commentary. It's to do with out of phase rules, I believe. And it's basically, it states that if a rule states in your shooting phase, then it's not eligible to work in other phases, even if it says you shoot as if it's your shooting phase. So even though Overwatch shoots as if it's your shooting phase, it is not your shooting phase. And Big Guns Never Tire states that in your shooting phase, you can do X thing. So that's why it doesn't work. So yeah, we got so there's 2 commander bricks, 2 crisis bricks this time. 1 full 6-man, 1 3-man, so smaller and a big one. Marcus mixing a mixture of plasma and ion. I think the plasma's there for the Custodes matchup. Obviously, the flat 3 is really nice against that. He's got Dark Strider, who's a little free wound character, which basically is a 12-inch aura of no deep strike. An Ethereal to generate some command points. The Crisis Brick, so the 6 and the 3-man. The Ghost Keel Battlesuit with the Fusion. 2 Hammerhead gunships with the big railguns and SMS systems. 2 units of Recruit Hounds for doing mission. 2 units of Stealth Suits again, mission play. A Piranha and 2 Riptide Ions. So, quite a scary list. Now, saving grace, the mission and the table. The mission is Vital Ground, which means this middle objective that you can all see isn't here. This middle objective doesn't exist. We are just playing with the 4 objectives. So, what we're going to do in this mission, we're going to use what that thing that we sort of like is taught by VT, which is the identify, the secure, the sabotage, and the kill. So, in this one, my entire thought is sabotage one, and then just hold the other. If I can hold the Tau to 2 on primary, because you only get 2 for holding your home in vital ground, it's 2 for every home objective, 5 for every neutral, and I think it's 7 points or 8 points if you hold your opponent. So our entire game plan is going to be hold 1, deny him, because there's no central objective. So we start to deploy. I think I am deploying first. So we're going to go deploy homers, and we're going to go into, I think we go deploy homers and bring it down again, because again, Tau 320, bring it down, pretty nice. The first thing we do is obviously drop our Nurglings in this L, because this is one of the few maps in this event where you can deploy homers from behind this wall, so it's nice and safe. My opponent then drops some stealth suits behind here, to which we then say, aha, I see what you're doing. We're going to put a Rhino behind this wall. So what I want to do is I want to get out my Plague Marines onto this point as fast as possible, like as fast as human possible. Then my opponent puts down a Hammerhead here. So I'm a bit worried, but I've measured it. He can't get this bottom line without advancing. So I'm like, okay, we can start deploying like here. That's fine. And we're going to make a parking lot. He puts his Hammerhead next to that one. He does put then a Riptide behind it as his last drop, so then this one can get angles, but I'm not too scared of a single Riptide. He's got a unit of Recruit in reserves. He has a unit of Recruit behind this wall. 1 big Crisis Brick, so the 6-man Crisis Brick is on the table. The 3-man is in reserves, so keep it down here. Dark Strider is against this wall with the Crisis Suits. Shadow Sun up here. The Ethereal sits in the corner all games to deny Deep Strike. I could mortar it, but it's not really that important. This unit of Stealth Suits comes here. This Ghost Keel comes here. This Riptide back here. This Piranha goes here, but then it'll scout like here. And these are in reserves. And we have made our parking lot. We've got Morty's the most exposed model because he's the toughest. Predator's the most hidden because they're the weakest. Cullists move into this on the line in the building because they're going to scout right into the corner up here. And we also have 5 Plague Marines with them up there. And then a Bloat Drone. So my entire idea, and the reason I'm doing all this, is I want to hold this objective down the bottom, because it's the safest one because of the L. And I want to keep denying him, because my list has better OC and the better ability to hold primary and contest it. I want to keep him off this top one. Secondary-wise, I can match him. I've got Bring It Down and Homers. He's probably going to max it, because he's got a really fast army. But if I can keep him to just 2 primary and I can score 7 every turn, that's all I've got to do to win this game. And that's all we're going to focus on all game. So, I believe we get... Let me check my phone again, make sure right. I believe I went first in this one again. Which is kind of... I think it was pretty good for me. You see, I went first or on second. I think I might have gone second, actually, because I remember that Piranha coming zooming down the side. Let's find out, because I always keep things. So let's go have a look back to the start. Who went first? Yes, I did go first, actually, yeah. So, scout into the corner here. We don't push out at this point, because he's not going to hold it. We don't care about holding this. We don't want to hold it. So we're not going to push out. We're just going to get in position behind this L. Bloat Drone, again, just moves up, staying nice and hidden. That's all we want to do. That's literally all we want to do. This 10-man Plague Marine gets out the Rhino, moves 5 and advances, and manages to get a couple guys onto the edge of the point, but most importantly, we're nice and safely behind the wall. And that's all we care about. So we've managed to take this by OC, we managed to do a teleport homers, which we're happy with, and we have set up to deny this next turn. So we're going to shoot our mortars, and I think what we do is we shoot the mortars at the Piranha, but we don't actually get very lucky. We don't drop it to 2 wounds and it lives, which is kind of upsetting, but it is what it is. So my opponent's turn, he gets deploy homers or something or behind me lines. He gets this Piranha and zooms it all the way down here. So the Piranha's pretty much sacrifice. Dark Strider retreats. The Stealth Suits retreat. The Recruit Hounds come and form like an L barricade around this wall because he doesn't want me to get through, but I'll be honest with you guys. Oh yeah, sorry, my head's really big in it. Whoop. I forgot to put it back down. Sorry. Whoop. There we go. I'm okay with that. I'm not really intending on charging. I just want to sit in this L all game. So the Kroot Hound's blocking me and doesn't really bother me too much. The Riptide comes and gets the angle. The Hammerhead's prepared to get an angle for next turn. The Crisis Suit Brick moves out to here. It's a really fast move. Shadowstone stays in this corner. This Riptide pops to here. And this Ghost Keel just moves forward. So, comes to my turn. I've got a big decision facing me. I'm like, okay. I either try and make a huge dent or I just deny stuff. And I decide what we'll do is we will casually try and pick up these Kroot Hounds with some shit shots. Because again, remember they're arcing around this corner. So what I'll do is I actually put a Plague Burst Crawler out. And just so we can see it. So we can use its machine gun to try and pick them away. Morty is going to fly back a bit to here. We're just going to use his wing tip that sticks out from behind the ruin to kill the Piranha with Psychic. And the Predators both move up and up. And we're going to try and use our last cannons to pop a Hammerhead. And the Plague Burst Crawlers are just going to mortar at whatever we can kill. The Cultists move out against this wall. And with the 6-inch contagion range, this is a bit closer here, we managed to tag these Crisis Suits with a Boil Blight and a minus... not minus, we managed to get the Boil Blight for the ignore cover. We then drop in our Death Shroud, which again I need to grab because I keep forgetting to upload those guys. There we go. Whoop. This is a bit of a risk, but I feel like I want to do it. So I'll drop them here. But I managed to get it in a line so that basically only 2 of his suits can actually see my unit, but my entire unit can shoot those 2 suits. So what this means is he can overwatch, and he does decide to overwatch, but he doesn't get to shoot all 7 of the guys. He only gets to shoot 2 of them, and he manages to kill 1 of the Terminators, which I'm okay with. Then we basically decide we're going to try and smash this brick as much as possible. All this Blood Drones come down to shoot as well. We're denying primary of the Cultists, so they've managed to take the primary off them here. These Plague Marines have marched into the corner to prepare to do it in the next turn. So these guys have just shoveled up. They're not exposing, they're shuffling up, putting as much OC on this point as we can. So these guys managed to kill, the Kroot Hound gets picked up by Stubbers and Havoc Launchers, etc. This guy dies to Morty's Psychic abilities. The last cannons on the Predator all kind of managed to connect and pick up one of the Hammerheads, which is quite nice. We don't manage to scratch the other one though. The Mortars plus the Death Shroud with the AP one on the Flamers from the Stratagem managed to weaken, I think we kill 3 out of the suits and drop one of them to 1 wound. And this fella here unfortunately whiffs a bit and doesn't manage to pick any of them up. So it was a bit of a risk, I'll admit, but it means he's got to focus a lot on trying to clear this top, which leaves my guys safe here. 1 Hammerhead's gone, we're happy with that. Darkstrider is just pissing around here. I don't really care about these 2 characters. I could have took Assassinate and got 2 free kills on these guys, but yeah, it is what it is. Nurglin's just obviously doing Homer things. So my opponent then, in his turn, comes down around here to avoid the -1 weapon skill, -1 ballistic skill contagion. And these fellas here, plus that, the Riptide moves back down here to get line of sight up. They all unload onto the Death Shroud and Cultists, and they do manage to, unfortunately, wipe them out. Which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And we're kind of still okay with that. That's not too bad. The Hammerhead shoots and manages to pop a Predator as well. Because, you know, strength 20, AP 5, D6 plus 6 damage. Kind of hurts. But again, it's okay. So we've denied opponent primary for 1 turn. Now we're going to try and do it again. So we're going to hold them to 2 for 2 turns. So in our turn, all we're going to do is this squad here is just going to move onto the point. Now, he doesn't want to overwatch it because, again, this suit squad is quite severely weakened and there's not really too much that it can do, to be honest with you. This Bloat Drone also moves across to here. No one's do homers. Yay. This squad, again, sits here and does nothing. And all we do is we put mortars into the rest of the Crisis Brick here. We don't actually manage to kill it, which is kind of... Oh, we mortar this squad because they're on the objective for the OC. So we kill them off with the mortars, which is quite nice. Again, we're just kind of accepting the fact this squad is this squad at this point. Typhus does drop in, though. And I think, yeah, we drove this guy up here. Morty came up. You're still hiding. Morty came up here. These guys just moved up a schmidt. these guys actually managed to, with the smite and the range of this guy, we managed to actually wound this ghost kill quite low. I think it lived on 2, which is a little upsetting, but 2 wound ghost kills, not too bad. So my opponent's turn comes along. The ghost kill stays still, can't move and risk getting overwatched or anything like that. The crisis brick sort of stays. They just want to clear these plague marines. The crisis suits drop. Oh no, he does move this actually. He moves it all the way up here because it's outside of the flame range. So he wants to. His plan is use the crisis to kill plague marines. Use the ghost kill to, because he sees a full fusion ghost kill, to pop the bloat drone. He drops in a crisis team in the back line. Not much you could really do about that, to be honest. I probably should have just done that, but again, I'm not used to having so many tanks. I'm not used to the car park. So the crisis, he's got capture enemy outpost, so he's got 2 chances to make a charge here. He can also just jump, shoot, jump, which is what he ends up doing. He shoots my Plague Bus Crawler, doesn't kill it, but then moves after shooting onto there. And the dogs actually make a charge as well, which is kind of annoying. The railgun does shoot up, and it does connect to this Plague Bus Crawler, and I think it drops it to 2, which is quite nasty. And then the Riptide, thank God, whiffs. But again, this squad's just chilling here. This squad at this point has scored me 14 basically on primary. They just exist, and I'm happy. This is fine. I know we're getting killed a lot elsewhere, but this is okay at the moment. So I do actually lose my home for a turn, which is kind of annoying, but he won't be there to hold it next turn and make sure of that, so he won't get any difference off that. So I'll lose 2 points for my home objective, but these guys die, and then the full fusion attacks into the bloat drone. He actually bosses every single invulnerable and manages to survive. So this little bloat drone manages to live here, which is actually quite funny. And the bloat drone, I think, was actually touching there, because I had to check my score. Did I actually? I think I spiked in turn 3 on a primary, because I actually held more than I thought. It's turn 3. Oh no, I just held 7. Yeah, so no, that's fine. Yeah, so the bloat drone was off. So he charges my bloat drone because he says, I'll just do it to try and tie it up. I obviously let him know that I can fall back and do whatever the hell I want with this thing. So he's like, oh, that's annoying, which it is, but hey ho. So my entire plan this turn is, this is only on 2 wounds. I drive this guy backwards up to here, still within low up range, so we can shoot the thing. And he's just going to shoot that, and he managed to pick up the last 2 wounds off that. So again, no primary score for my opponent. Again, he's only on the 1. All the shooting plus the mortals back here. Typhus moves up. I think Shadowson's here at this point, so apologies. I always forget all little characters. Mortarion picks up Shadowson with grenade, stratagem, and shooting. All the shooting back here. The dogs die to the sprayers. The crisis suits only a 3-man die to the combination of everything else, because again, the vehicles, they're not even in combat, they're just fire invaded. So these guys get boil blighted and ripped apart. Mortarion fails the 4-inch charge into this, which is quite funny. But sod's law, it happens. Nurglings do Nurgling things. These guys still exist here, scoring points like mad. At this point, he's kind of admitted it's kind of over. But he plays it out. He gets his points. Crisis moves to here, do some more shooting. I think they managed to pick this thing up with the hammerhead. Then gets a railgun shot and actually picks this up with the Dev Wound proc, which is quite nice. But that's all he manages to do. He gets a bit aggressive with these Riptides, like this, trying to see if I do anything with these. Guess what? I don't. I sit there and do nothing. Because again, this is winning me the game, not this, not the charges. This is winning me the game. So we stay behind here. Bloat drone flies into his deployment zone, does a nice cheeky, this guy's holding his home, does a nice cheeky deploy teleport when he's in his home. Morty then finally gets in on this squad with the shooting and picks it up on the mortals. And I just said to basically him, I just say, look, I'm just going to sit here for the rest of the game. It's battleground, so he scores at the end of his turn. He puts everything he can on this. I think he just managed to pip it just because the amount of models I can physically get on limited me. So he managed just to get a final bit of turn scoring, and that's about it. But we basically win it completely by holding our opponent. If you look at the primary score, yeah, look at that, 2-2-2-2-11. That's pretty brutal. 17 on his primary. We knew what we needed to do. We need to sabotage 3 turns of that primary, and then obviously he gets last turn, so it's quite easy to get the primary. But that's all we wanted to do, and we actually managed to pull it off, which is quite nice. And we just stuck to our game plan. We got our backs, bring it down, and we got our deploy teleport homers just as we needed it. So overall, quite happy with how I played it. I can understand it was quite passive, maybe a bit boring, but my entire plan the entire time was to sabotage this top objective, which we managed to do, and keep these guys just in here. It's the 290 point brick that won the game, but did nothing. Literally didn't do a single point of damage, but won the game. But again, sometimes that's what it takes to win the game, which is cool. So yeah, happy days. So 3-0 at the end of the first day. Then we go into Michael Duff with this horrendous Templars list. So it's basically 3 Gladiator Reapers, 3 Impulsors, 3 units of Sword Brethren, and then a load of like MSU stuff. I will not sugarcoat this. I fucked this up. I fucked this up so hard. And not only did I fuck it up, my dice then fucked me up. But I'm not going to blame dice entirely. I had some bad dice, pretty grim dice, but as you'll see. But this was totally also on me, and this is the thing. Even I make mistakes, even I really can screw up a game, and it's all about trying to find the mistake and learning from it instead of just being like, oh, the dice. Because don't remember, my dice were bad. My opponent even said my dice were bad in this one. But, 280 points here. But at the same time, there was things I could have done better here, definitely, for sure. So, this is what happens when someone that can play a parking lot plays someone that can't play a parking lot. And boy, does it show. So, Impulsor, Rhino, Double Reaper. Scouts were here. Oh, sorry, at the back. Where are they gone? The back, just screening. They were in reserves. These guys are on the Impulsors, and these guys obviously infiltrate and scout with the lone up guy. So, I'm going to fuck this up. You're going to watch me F it up. Nurgling's going here, because again, I can peep around the corner and get a teleport homers. Should not have took teleport homers. Terrible idea. Awful. I don't know why I did it. I just got too comfortable. This Rhino, deployed behind this wall. Mistake. Trying to get an advance into here is just too long. I need to get a 6 on the advance. I respected his shooting way too much. I should have just deployed this here. All of his shooting's AP0. Yeah, it has death wounds, but if he wants to explode 3 tanks to kill a Rhino, and then I should have just put my Predators here to react and kill it back. But I didn't. I put my Rhino right in this corner like an idiot. Trapped the entire unit pretty much. Then I did my usual, because again, I don't know how to play car park, so I just put everything behind the walls and hid. Way big mistake. Look how free this is to take angles on this bottom square here. Instead, I trapped myself behind this triangle like a muppet. I put a 5-man squad in here with the cultists, just in case. We got a first turn scout. This one had the 6 objectives, so you got to imagine there's an objective here and an objective here. 10-man inside the Rhino, the bloat drones down here, time for some reserves. So, I get first turn, I believe. Yeah, I do, yeah. So, we do scouts. I scout out onto here. He scouts, like, back into here. I managed to sticky this objective, and I'm like, okay, cool. Turn 1 boil blight play, let's go. So, we move, we advance. We took -1 save contagion. We don't even boil blight it. We just shoot these scouts and we kill them with the plague bus crawlers. Now, here's the fuck up. Why did I do this? Why did I have the 10-man in the Rhino and the 5-man down here? I put the 10-man in this building, and I was like, cool, they can just hold that objective because I can't reach this one up here. This was so dumb. I'm kind of embarrassed to even talk about it. Yeah, I could even just put, again, I could have even put the Rhino here, just moved it, and then moved it next turn and just took 1 turn of not having it. Again, it's fine, but again, I was too worried. This bloat drone took a pot shot at this impulse, took 4 wounds off it. But I put my big 10-man brick here, like an idiot. And my opponent did the clever thing which he should do. He got out his Sword Brethren, and he charged this unit at the bottom here and at the top here. So what this meant is Helbrecht's unit, which is at the bottom, were at the back of my unit, basically popped his advance and charge, and this Crusader squad, so this wasn't the Sword Brethren, this is a Crusader squad, should we say, tagged all my heavy plague weapons. So because they're in base to base, they can't pile in or do anything, so my heavy plague weapons have to swing into this shitty 80-point Crusader squad, and Helbrecht, who comes in around the back, gets to absolutely decimate my squad. Now, I did actually have Morty, like, here. I brought him out because I wasn't too scared of him, and I actually managed to roll a heroic intervention in, because I'm like, okay, this is messed up. I've really done it bad here, so at least if I heroic in, Mortarion can swing with his 5 attacks. Not great, but I can kill all the Sword Brethren on average, and that's okay. So I can kill the Sword Brethren, and then I only based one Sword Brethren. So if I kill them all, I'm actually out of combat because Helbrecht has to die last. So in my turn, I'm free to then go up and around. And actually, I just realized Morty's in the wrong place. Morty went out the top way, so he's like here because he was buffing all the guys from behind the wall. Because again, I get too addicted to walls, me, way too addicted to walls. So these guys are getting buffed through the wall. Now this 6 inches also dragged me away from all my tanks, which wasn't great because they didn't get benefits then. Helbrecht rolled a 6 to do mortal wounds in combat and dumped Morty for 6 mortal wounds. I passed no feel, no pains, which was nice. But then he swung and ultimately I killed this squad, but then Helbrecht with a 2 damage sweep at AP4 killed my entire 10-man Plague Marine squad. What a waste. What a noob play. That should have been the 5-man to force a bad trade, but instead I just give up. I just give 280 points away for free, like an idiot. Absolute stupid. And this is the thing, I make mistakes. You guys will make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But I know that wasn't a dice moment. What's about to happen is a dice moment, but that wasn't. That was a misplay completely. And I remember that. And remember, I'm so much more used to having more 5-man Plague Marines, more trading units. This style of list for me doesn't work when I only have the 1 10-man brick and 1 5-man unit. That doesn't even have its own rhino. So that was a big mistake. Now, during all this, his vehicles have all moved out. You see how he's spreading out his vehicles? He's spreading out all over the map. He's getting all these angles. I'm keeping a clump. And again, that's what I mean. This person knows how to play parking lot. I don't. I'm bad at it. He's good at it. But the colours have died to this. But this is where it gets worse. So Morty then swings in at Helbrecht. So 5 attacks. 4 1s. 4 1s to hit. I hit on 2s, wound on 2s, rerolling 1s, killing instantly. And I roll 4 1s to hit. Ouch. So I kill 1 Sword Brethren. 1. With Mortarion. They have no invul. It should have killed at least 4 on average. I killed 1. So Mortarion is now stuck in combat. Now what's even more annoying, if Mortarion had done what he's supposed to do and killed the Sword Brethren, he only had to kill 3 as well. Because the guys with the Plague Knives managed to kill him. With the Consolidate, I could have actually consolidated around the top, and that would have put the back of my base onto the objective. So in my turn, I would have held it and its sights of power, so he'd have been a character on it, so that would have given me 6 victory point swing. Instead, I'm stuck here in combat with a youth squad I haven't killed, and I'm going to drop 6 victory points. So that's not good. That's pretty bad. So I'm like, okay, what do we do now? Oh, there's a Sword Brethren squad guy in here, by the way, from this guy here. But it's got fight first, remember. So our Plague Marines come out to this wall, onto the objective to deny them primary. We boil blight it, and all the mortars are going to fight over. And we managed to actually kill this down to like just the Judicar and a guy on 1 wound, which is pretty good. Quite happy with that. I move my Predators out here, and I'm like, okay, what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and kill this Gladiator. We'll mortar this squad here. Morty can kill the squad he's in combat with, and then we will see where we go from there. So to help kill this Reaper, and because I wanted to get some points, I actually dropped Typhus here because I'm like, okay, this impulse is empty. If Typhus and all these 2 Predators kill this Reaper, then Typhus will not die to an Impulsor, single Impulsor. He will hold this objective, sticky it next turn. He's hidden from shooting from down this angle because of how I've angled him. And then with Morty on this one, we can start to recover by holding 2 objectives, and we'll sticky them with characters. So then, with the mission being characters on objective, that's going to be 12 VP a turn, which is going to be really nice. So, okay, cool. That's the plan. So what happens is, we go shooting phase. Mortarion shoots his lantern, kills the last Sword Brethren. So only Helbrecht is. He shoots his lantern, gets the sustained D3, which is quite nice. Kills 2 Sword Brethren, which is quite nice. So I think they're down to just Helbrecht and a Sword Brethren now. That's quite cool. So we stay in combat there. These Predators open fire at the Gladiator Reaper with the autocannon and both las cannons, and they do a grand total of 4 damage to it. A little bit rough. It's just like, not great. Oh, Scott, thank you very much for going to Plague Marine, mate. And thank you very much, Chris, for the $2 there, mate. Thank you for the tea money to calm my nerves. Yeah. So the 2 Predators drop the Reaper with all their shots. Plus, I think I even put like the little machine gun in and Morty's spell because I can't shoot the blast into combat. We drop it down to only 4 wounds. That's with real ones to wound. We're ignoring armor of contempt and all that. So not great. It's down to 4 wounds. So big man Typhus steps up and he rolls a fucking 1. And he does 3 mortal wounds to himself. Great. So this is going well. The as you can imagine, this is going great. These guys have had to teleport almost because the Nurglings are dead. So again, these guys can't do anything, which is upsetting. So the Reaper lives. It's not even dead. 2 Predators plus Typhus couldn't kill it. Plus a Morty spell couldn't kill it. So we're like, okay, fair enough. So Morty then goes into combat. He has just Helbrecht and a single Sword Brethren left. 5 attacks. Roll them out. 4 ones again to hit. 4 ones again. Twice in a row. Kills 1 Sword Brethren. Helbrecht lives. Are you shitting me? Helbrecht then rolls his dice to do mortal wounds. 6. Twats Morty for 4 mortal wounds again. Now, thankfully, because I was only in base contact with a Sword Brethren and not Helbrecht, Helbrecht cannot swing back at me. Thank Christ. But yeah, that hurt. So Morty at this point is lost about half his health to just mortal wounds from Helbrecht, which is very cool. And I failed to kill basically anything this turn. So my opponent drives his Impulsor here, drives his Reaper a bit closer, Reaper, and all his shooting from all the Reapers. This one Reaper here, because the twin linked with Dev Wounds, drops 8 Dev Wounds on Morty, which was really cool. He dropped Morty down to 2 wounds, basically. Now Helbrecht has moved behind the building, he's fallen back to combat. All the shooting here drops Morty down to 2 wounds. So Morty's not having a good time. The Sword Brethren here have just mopped up this squad here. It's not looking good. I bring in the Death Shroud just up near Typhus with rapid ingress. This Impulsor drove right to Typhus, shoots him in the face with a multi-melter, but only does a... He doesn't actually wound with the multi-melter. He hits with a rocket and does like 2 damage to him. So he drops Typhus down to 2 wounds. So like there somewhere. So Morty's alive on 2 wounds. Typhus is alive on 1 wound. I've lost all my Plague Marines. Helbrecht is still alive. Helbrecht then casually just presses a command point and throws a grenade at Mortarion because he's the great keyword and kills Mortarion. So not only did Helbrecht absolutely disrespect Mortarion twice, 2 rounds in combat by twatting him for 8 mortal wounds, he then throws an additional fucking 4 mortal wounds at him with a grenade on the way out. So he literally walks away, cool guys don't look at explosions, ka-chink over the shoulder and blows up the Demon Primarch of Nurgle. Then, to make matters worse, this Impulsor charges Typhus and drops a nice fancy tank shock on his head and runs over the Herald of Nurgle with an Impulsor. Now, at this point, I'm basically like, yeah, this is probably not great. So I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. We'll try and do one last play of making a turn. The PVCs drive out here, they spray and they actually manage to kill Helbrecht, yay, and the Mortars pick up this Sword Brethren squad, which is nice. The Death Shroud move in, they kill this thing, and then they're just going to sit on this objective for the rest of the game with a lot of virulence. These 2 Predators, okay, we've got a 4 wound Reaper. He presses Armor of Contempt, and with the Forest, he bounces absolutely everything from these guys. So I'm just like, brill. So this Reaper's still not dead. At which point my opponent basically says, I think this is done. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably done. So he agrees he can't really get to these because the Overwatch potentially could just kill this thing, and he wouldn't kill them alone and then they'd melee it. So he basically agrees that this thing is going to die next turn, by odds. But at that point, I can't contest anything. He's still got a Sword Brethren squad in here. He's still got a Scout squad in reserves to come in and score stuff. So I basically concede. There's not much point playing this out. It's over. And it's a great example, though, of someone who knows how to play car park, because he starts spreading out like this. You see how he's like spreading out across the line, whereas I'm still trying to bundle up against someone that doesn't know how to play it. And the bad dice rolls did screw me over quite a bit, admittedly. But the main tactical blunder was definitely the Plague Marines just going here like 10 man there was so stupid. I don't know why I did it. It was so foolish. But again, we live and we learn, don't we? Yeah, 4-1s is sad. But I hope it at least gave you guys some comedy. It's it happens. It happens. Morty is upset probably because I bring typhus. Yeah. Do you think this would have gone differently if you had more plague marines? Yes, because the thing is, with plague marines, I can force bad trade. So if I just put that 5-man up there, the only thing that can kill them is if this gladiator reaper extends to over here. It can't even do that because of the wall. It has to come like literally there. In which case, then Morty just comes and punches it to death. I mean, you might roll 4-1s to hit, but you never know. But it just gives me more things to fling out, and it doesn't matter if you if you fight first, because usually what happens when I throw a 5-man plague marine squad at a unit, it's not, even if you got fight first, it's not the plague marines that are actually like the threat half the time. It's the fact that they bring a boil blight with them, and I normally have 3 plague burst crawlers. I only have 2 here. I did miss that 3rd one. So these guys would like move, advance, take your objective off you, and the boil blight would usually pick up the unit that was on it. So in a way, they kind of proxy kill it, and being able to do that over and over. So then Reaper comes out, kills them. Sure, I've lost 80 points. Then I should be able to like pop out vehicles, trade the Reaper back. And if they've put another squad in there, like another Soul Brethren, we get then another 5-man, and we basically rinse and repeat the process, and it keeps making them make bad trades. But it's one of those things. In the future, you plan to run another squad. I'm planning to redo this list entirely. This is Don Houston's in the chat. Don Houston is like the vehicle man for Death Guard. He runs the vehicles, the demon engines. It's not my style of playing. So what am I going to do? I'm not too sure yet. I think we're going to have a stream talking about new list design. I think I might go back to like more Plague Marine focus though. Maybe more MSU Death Shroud, because I'm just an MSU player. I'm much better at that kind of play style. Or at least go back to like 2 10-man squads. We'll see. I've got to play a couple more games to experiment, but this list wasn't for me. I will definitely say that for sure. But it's a good list. Don't think it's bad. But yeah, 98-47 loss. That's pretty fucking grim. But that's that one loss. So yeah, to make it even worse, so not only did we just lose that game pretty horrifically, there was 3 undefeated players now in the tournament. So we had 3 players 5-0, which means one of them would have to play someone on 4-1. So I just got battered, and I paired upwards, so I had to go against a finalist. So I had to go against someone that's 4-0 after just getting my ass handed to me like this. So I'm sat there going, well, at least it's a nice, easier game now. I get to chill out a bit. Nope. But people, the dice taketh, and soon we will learn. The dice giveth. The dice, oh, they giveth. So we went against Blood Angels. A lot of rush down Blood Angels. This is the absolute rush down Blood Angel ever seen list. So we got Lamartis, a jump pack chaplain, a normal chaplain, a lone up lieutenant, 5 infiltrators, 2 units of scouts, a rhino, and then we have all the Death Company plus assault intercessors. So 2 5-man jump assault intercessors, 2 10-man jump Death Company, 2 5-man Death Company with Thunderhammers, and 2 Death Company dreadnoughts. Okay, this is a lot of pressure. This is a lot of rundown pressure, and this is a game I've played against Matt before. Matt's a very passionate player. I really like Matt, but if anyone in the chat does know him, because I know some people here are local to me and I know them, Matt can get quite heated, not to his opponent, but just like emotionally heated in how the game's going. And in the past, me and Matt, again, he's never nasty. He's never nasty to me as an opponent. He's never been anything to me, but he definitely gets frustrated quite easily. And unfortunately, I have a tendency to be the person that always meets him in round 5 and ruin his dreams. And we're going to keep that tradition going a bit. So here we are on the battlefield. So it's Dawn of War. It's not Dawn of War, sorry. Hammer and Anvil. 5 objectives, and it is Scorched Earth. Somewhere you burn objectives. So I actually learn here, and this is the one thing. I try and do. I'm going to learn from my last game. We're not gonna put our vehicles behind this L. We're not doing it anymore. We're gonna be aggressive with them. We're gonna make use of them. So Morty, and again, there's not much shooting in this list. There's like none. So Morty front lines it. Happy. Rhino front lines it. Typhus in reserves. Plague Bus Crawler right behind Morty. Second Plague Bus Crawler right next to that one. Predator right back here. Second Predator up here. So we're trying not to be as attached to Morty. We want to be close to him, but not super attached. Plague Marine Squad over here. Bloat Drone on the flank. Nurgling Squad, again, we can get just within 6 of the homers from behind the wall this time, so that's quite good. We take homers and cleanse on this one. Cultist Squad down here, again, in case we get a first turn advance, we can just move on to that. We can scout, move on to there, and do a cleanse. They're obviously inside the Rhino. My opponent puts a Rhino in here. His infiltrators on his home. The 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts and reserves, and we're going to have a topic on these in a minute. He puts a Scout Squad there. His Death Company Squad jump packs 10-man there, a 10-man there, and then the 2 5-man jump pack units here, and then these guys are both inside the Rhino. So there's actually another 5-man jump pack squad. I forgot there's 25 jump packs. Another 5-man jump pack squad in here. So he's got a lot of pressure there. Now we get first turn. So I'm like, okay, let's make some. Let's be a bit aggressive here, because this is where I'm looking at his list and I'm like, he trades pretty bad into me. So I'm going to try and make a trade. So Cultist on this again. This is the bit I'm good at. This is what I do best. So Cultist Scout, Cultist Move. Get these guys with -1 save contagion range. Happy days. Rhino, we're not going to get out. We're going to stay inside the Rhino, right in there. So we're going to force him to come pop the Rhino and deal with it. Bloat Drone literally goes up the building, down the other side. They use all its movement literally to go over like an inch. It's quite funny. Plague Marines are going to hop to the back. Morty pops out to here. The Plague Burst Crawlers both follow him. The Predator follows him, and this Predator sort of just peeps out this angle here. The Mortars all pick up these fellas here. The Rhino does a cleanse. The Cultists do a cleanse. The Nurglings come right to the corner and do a teleport homers. Nice, simple. Done all our second stuff, secondaries. Now we're going to wait and see what our opponent does. And Matt Charles hits the send it button. He slams down the you send it boy. And literally, this is his movement. Death Company, 10-man squad. Death Company, 5-man squad. Assault Intercessors there. Assault Intercessors. So that one goes to do a cleanse on there because you got cleanse. This one comes to here. These guys come here. This squad flies out here. He sends basically all his jump packs at me. And it gonna hurt. So he charges in. 10-man wraps this Rhino. And the 5-man just comes at the front of the Rhino here. This Assault Intercessor squad charges into the Nurglings. And these guys charge into the Cultists here. Rhino just takes position. So my opponent, I do the same trick as last time. I heroic into the Assault Intercessors, hopefully getting a better result this time with Mortarion. So the Rhino gets absolutely popped by the Death Company, but he pops it with a 5-man. Now I know what he's hoping I do. I'm not a fool. He's hoping I disembark here, and then he can activate the second squad, pile into them, and wipe them out. So instead, I emergency disembark because I'm fully surrounded on the Rhino out here onto the other side of the wall. So this unit is already activated. So if they want to consolidate into me and die for free, they can. They decide not to. Smart choice. So then this squad here is kind of just sat there with nothing to swing at. So saw that one coming. Not today, bud. These cultists get absolutely wiped out by 10 Death Company, as you can imagine. And he actually manages to do it in a way that he manages to actually consolidate into this PVC with a 6-inch consolidate. Kind of annoying, but oh well. The Assault Intercessors chop up the Nurglings quite easily, but then Mortarion manages to twat them. Actually, manages to roll 5 2s, guys. He does it. He does it. He does 5 2s, then 2s to wound and kills them all. So at this point, it's going to come into my turn. My opponent has 10 -1 damage, Death Company. Again, 6 up feeling the pain as well. 5-man squad, and another 10-man squad here. A 5-man squad of Assault Intercessors here. Okay? Bloat Drone flies down. Plague Marines come out. These Plague Marines move to here to have a choice. These guys, plus the Bloat Drone, are going to try and shoot these guys and clear them. These guys are backup charge. The Predator drives round. And basically, these guys here are all going to unload into these 2 squads. And in one absolutely horrific turn, we managed to shoot and free grenade this squad to death. all the Predators plus the PBCs absolutely demolish Lamar Easy's unit, even with the -1 damage, because we're ignoring it because of Mortarion. Mortarion's spell plus gun, plus the plasma gun from this squad, because the Sergeant has it, and all the little shots from the Predators managed to absolutely demolish this squad. The Plague Spitters managed to weaken this Death Company squad, but not kill it. And then, to pop the cherry on top, these guys bomb a 12-inch charge and actually manage to kill all the infiltrators on his home objective. This is turn 2. Turn 2. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. So, my opponent in his turn goes, oh, that's bullshit, and he gets a bit heated, but he carries on. And then he brings in his own bullshit. Does anyone in the chat know what these things do? Because I sure as hell didn't. Death Company Dreadnoughts are possibly the most bullshit thing I've ever experienced. So he falls back and charges this squad. Oh, Typhus also dropped here, did some mortal wounds to that squad. So he falls back over this guy with charge and all that stuff. Fall back and charge. This guy makes a 7-inch charge. He gets +2 versus vehicles from reserves into this tank. Now, and this guy does the same over here. He gets out his Death Company out here into this squad here, and he charges them in. Now, his Death Company pop fight on Death Stratagem, and the Plague Marines obviously fight first. These two units mutually wipe each other out completely. So, well, he charges both squads, so they both die. Now, Death Company Dreadnoughts are bullshit, because what they can do is they swing and they kill your tank. Tank dies, yeah? Then they pay a stratagem, which for the rest of the turn, whenever they consolidate, they can go 6 inches. So he consolidates into combat with a Predator. As per the rules, my Predator has to swing. So my Predator swings in, does nothing. The Death Company Dreadnought has a rule that says... Oh, I've also brought in my Death Shroud in the middle from last turn as well. Sorry, they're like here. Yeah, well, perfect. Look right. Their rule says that whenever they're attacked, they attack back. I was under the impression that you can only fight once per fight phase as per the core rules. Apparently that's not how WTC ruled it. So my Predator bumps him with 3 wheels attacks, does nothing, gets swung back on, explodes. He then consolidates 6 into this one. This one has to bump him, he gets to fight, pops that one. He then does that into the Death Shroud and kills like fucking 4 of those fuckers. This guy fights, pops that thing, consolidates into this squad. These squad have to hit him, do a little bit of damage. He gets to fight back, kills that one. Consolidates down into this thing, pops that one. I beg your pardon. I didn't know what they did, Don. I'd never seen them before. No wonder this guy was smashing people. Because this is bullshit. I didn't know this was a thing. I was like, wait. What's happening now? Now, he doesn't actually kill all the Plague Marines there. Like, I think 2 of them survive. I get quite lucky on my thing. So he doesn't actually go into that Predator just yet. But these are massive. They get up to like 2 guys. But as you can see, these 2 units have just picked up like half my army. Yeah. This is a thing. I didn't know what they did either, guys. But this is the thing. Now, thankfully, next turn, Typhus went and dealt with these Death Company back here. This is, by the way, this is turn... The end of that there. This is the end of turn 2. Everything's dead. Everything is dead. 2. So, now thankfully, this guy does end up getting absolutely twatted by Mortarion. The las cannons here, plus a fallback using a grenade, managed to also pop this dude here. Because they're not very tough. They're only like 9 wounds with a 2-up save. So they do die. Typhus comes up, kills this fella here. With the sidekick plus the charge and melee. And then we're basically just left in this awkward thing where on the top of turn 3, this guy's drove down and does like homers or something. All these guys do homers. He might go up there and do a cleanse. So turn 3, we're pretty much tabled. And I am just going to, for the rest of the turn, float down here. He just drives here. And yeah, that's the quickest game of 40k I've ever seen in my life. and that is the most bullshit unit I've ever seen in my life. Because imagine if I had spaced my stuff even worse. Imagine if you're a Tau player and you didn't leave 6-inch gaps between your units. He could infinitely walk through your entire army. So yeah, that was I've got something to show you guys. Where is it? I think I put it in the Discord. Give us a second. I'll show you in the Discord. Hopefully you can see this in a second because I want you to see it because there's actually quite a glorious picture I managed to get. Discord. So this is our Discord as well. This is the Discord for the members and stuff. So here we go. So this here, hopefully you guys can see this on stream. This is the end of his turn 1. As you can see how much stuff just absolutely went balls out at me, yeah? And then at the end of my turn 2, you can see a lot of his scouts came in here and they got picked up next turn. So all the jump stuff is gone par this little squad here. And this little bastard, this son of a bitch, killed all 3 of these and then went into the Death Shroud, killed a couple but then lived, and then Martyr had to come and slap him to death. Absolute, I was lost for words. I was like, how is this a thing? But the judge came over. I had to call the judge because, not that I was like thinking my opponent's trying to cheat, but you can imagine being told this, you would want to get a judge to be like, is this legit? And yes, it is legit. So Death Company Dreadnoughts, yeah, Murderfang does do it, and Will Eat's Help Roots do it too. But what makes it super powerful here is the 6-inch consolidate until the end of the phase. So every time it does it, it gets to consolidate 6 instead of 3, which means if you're within 7 inches of the model, you're just going to get tagged and then punched to death. Which is pretty grim, I won't lie. But yeah, as you can see, as you can imagine, that was a bit rough. But in the end, we do manage to come away with it. And we just do our cleanse and homers for the rest of the game and burn some objectives. Matt actually manages to send out his little 5-man squad that's still either a scout squad into an empty objective and score some points at the end with what he's got left. But it was over pretty damn quick, and it ended up like 89-63 in the end. Overall, one of the most brutal games I've ever played at 40k. Over very quickly and showed the absolute power of -1 save plus Death Guard output and Blood Angel's crazy bullshit dreadnoughts. So overall results, I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna have a little rant here now. I actually got 9th place out of 51. Now, this event, I'm gonna grief you here, Will, because this is your event too. This event did its rankings off battle points alone, no strength of schedule. So what this actually meant is Michael Duff, who was in the finals, the only 2 undefeated finalists, because I beat Matt Charles, actually finished in 7th instead of 2nd. How does that make sense? And the 2 people that I beat, Marcus Hinson and Matt Charles, got 2nd and 3rd respectively. I finished in 9th. So, Will, please, from now on, use strength of schedule, because battle points is kind of ridiculous and doesn't really take into account, like, people having harder games maybe score less, because it's a harder game. So, I'm going to have my rant, that's it. I'm not going to rant too much, but it's just a little bit of a rant. But I'm still happy with 9th place out of 51. I got into top 10, which is something that I wanted to see. Overall, not really my style of list. I probably wouldn't run this one again. Doesn't mean it's a bad list. It's a good list. It does work. It's just, you guys can see I have problems playing parking lot. It's just not my thing. It's not my style. But it does work. It's quite interesting. I didn't actually get to play against Custodies, which kind of hurts. So strength of schedule to it basically means you look at how well you did, and then if you are 4-1, you look at everyone else who's 4-1, and you see how well their opponents did. Because the idea being that if you played against 5 people that all went and ended up 4-1 or 5-0, you've had a harder run of it than someone whose first 2 rounds beat up people that went 1-4 and 0-5. So you should, in fact, rankings theoretically finish higher because you've played harder games than those have. Battle points alone, and there's no perfect way. There's generally no perfect way to do the scoring system, but battle points alone also punishes armies that can't just like roll someone over. Like Death Guard don't tend to like 100-0 people, whereas like the Blue Angels play with that list, as you can imagine. If people didn't know how to deal with that running at them, could 100-0 people constantly. So it's hard to get pairings and like final ratings right, but it feels a bit weird to like beat two of the people that then finish in 2 and 3rd, but you finish in 9th, if you get what I mean. It just feels weird. Again, it doesn't matter. It's internet points at the end of the day. Who gives a shit? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Who cares? But yeah, overall, Death Guard is definitely strong. We had another Death Guard player do pretty well there. What else did we learn? Custodies are really strong. Lots of Custodies. Didn't get to play against one, bit upset. So again, having a list like this with a lot of damage free for Custodies and Mortarion could be really good. There were so many Catan. Oh my god, so many Catan players. So you definitely want to bring Mortarion for those buggers. I think you can go multiple different ways with Death Guard at the moment. You can either go parking lot shooting. Garrett Stacey, who plays Death Guard a lot, has also had success with a Triple Predator build. He won an RTT this weekend. Liam VSL has a very interesting list. SOS is great if you want Aiden's opponent that just randomly doesn't get first after being ransomed down. Yeah, that's fair. It sucks a bit if you get paired down. That's a bit sucky. So I suppose, like I said, there's no real way to get a perfect scoring schedule or scoring system, but they do the best they can, I suppose. But it's still a fun one. How would I play into Custodes at list? I would laugh at them. It's pretty grim versus Custodes, this list. The Predators just open up into them constantly. The Sprayers, you can basically just put a lot of pressure with -1 save. I don't know if Don, how do you feel against Custodes? Because like, I honestly just kind of laugh at it. I don't care about the Custodes match at all. I think Death Guard just absolutely shaft Custodes. But again, last time I played Custodes was with last time I played against Custodes was in Leicester, and that was without without Mortarion, and I was still picking them up easily with -1 save contagion. So having like the Predators with Mortarion to ignore the -1 to wound, to ignore the -1 damage is gonna be even easier. But I also like I was beating Custodes with pre-buff Death Guard, so like Custodes are one of the matchups I'm the most comfortable into, because again, Custodes can't trade, and one thing I can do as a player, even though I can't car park for anything, I'm terrible at that, I can trade. And when you're against an army that can't trade, like Custodes, who just can't trade, I can do that pretty well. But yeah, I agree, James. Strength of schedule, weighted battle points is probably the best way to get it. But again, it's ups and downs. But it's cool. Like, the meta's in a really cool place in general. It's good to see Custodes back. It's good to see different armies. Like, even the Tau players doing pretty well, even though they're basically playing 20-0 down because of Bring It Down. But there were so many different... Like, what did you play against, James? You play against the right variety as well, didn't you? There's just so many armies sort of, like, coming out of the woodworks, and it's great to see. And I think right now is a really good time to be. I think Necrons are a little bit... But I genuinely find Necrons unfun to play against in general. Colin, it was a Predator Destructors, so they've got the flat 3 damage, rapid fire 2, up to 6 shot autocannon, which Custodes really hate because that's strength 9, AP 2, flat 3 damage. And then I put las cannons on the side just to have some extra anti-tank. Will say, I think the heavy bolters are also really good, and sometimes I wish I had them instead. Plague heavy bolters are really good. So don't knock them. Like, they're definitely really worth bringing as well. It's just personal preference. I also agree, Todd. I think I should have gotten first anyway. Even with that loss, it was clearly the dice. It was clearly nothing to do. I didn't make a single mistake. I'm perfect. Don't clip that. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel with it, Don. People don't like it when you play Death Guard into them. Especially like anti-infantry 2 plus go. I don't care about your saves. Take an invuln for your spray guns. But yeah, I think if you're a Death Guard player going into competitive and you are playing Custodes, why I'm running Grot Tanks. Yeah, strength 9, AP 2 damage free of blast. It's the perfect profile to kill Custodes. But I think if you're a Death Guard right now, very interesting time to be playing Death Guard. We are strong. Liam's list that we're going to have that episode up probably next week for members, a bit later on for non-members. He's definitely still sticking with Death Guard. He plays more teams though, so we will see that his list is a bit different design to what you'll need for singles. But I think Death Guard are in a really, really good spot right now. I don't think we're overpowered. I don't think we're oppressive. but I think we are very strong. And I think if Catan, not Catan, if Necrons get a bit of a tap, we're in a really solid spot. I just don't like the Necron game, as in like a fun level. I don't find them a fun army to face at the moment. They just, because you either hit the damage check or you fail the damage check, and if you fail it, you just have to watch yourself die over the next 5 turns, which isn't really fun. My problem is, Death Guard, is I'm too spoiled for choice. Yeah, I know, right? It's Death Guard internal balance is crazy good at the moment. There's so many things. Like, I don't know if anyone watched the latest Profiles of Decay. Dave's got me really wanting to try out 2 Malignant Playcasters in Rhinos at the moment and just see how like a Bile Bus does, just driving around spraying stuff. So that could be really fun to try out. There's tons to try. I'm going to try a Morty pressure list. So we're going like triple bloat drone, lots of Rhinos, lots of Plague Marines. I want to try a full-on, the original list that I did back when Death Guard were terribly unplayable, people said, which is like triple Plague Burst Crawler, Morty, and just tons of chaff like Cultists and stuff like that. See how that plays out. There'll be some MSU Death Shroud. Tons of things to try out, tons of things to learn. But right now, I think Death Guard are in a really, really good, fun spot. And yeah, that was my event. So the next event's probably going to be Manchester GT, which is in March. So that'll be the next big event. So we're preparing for that. We have lots of content still coming up though, because we have a lot of people now. We have Will, obviously. Will's doing his Poxwater Plague Marine. Dave's doing Profiles of Decay. I'm going to get an Assembly to Annihilation up the next day or two for talking about people trying to get the first 1,000 point list together and how you can expand the combat patrol to that with certain different ways to do it, which will be quite fun. Any content you guys want to see, so you want some like a Custodes matchup, I can do that. We've got plenty of stuff still to come. So I can't use a Defiler Don. UKTC just doesn't work. They're so bad. I can't even move the damn thing. I want to use a Defiler. I like the model, but it's so bad over here. But yeah, we got the giveaway coming. Shall we show them what's on the giveaway?
Pardon?
Shall we show them what's on the upcoming giveaway?
If you want.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Can you send us the thing about? I'm gonna spoil you guys. You're gonna see what's coming up for the upcoming giveaway. So people that don't know, we do giveaways. So one of the things we have for the giveaway is we do have. I actually have another set of the Saltite Gaming Death Guard themed gaming aids. So you get like deep strike markers, you get objective markers, you get some contagion sticks, contagion reminders. So they're going to be coming up in a giveaway. We always do a £25 Warhammer voucher giveaway. Again, not one person wins all these. It's 3 different entries. Members enter and it's randomly drawn. And then, so we've got the £25 gift voucher, a full set of gaming aids, Death Guard themed. And then, last but not least, and this is the one that I guarantee you're all going to want. This is the one that everyone's going to want. Let me just, let me find it. I'm just going to turn the screen off for 1 second so I can pull it up so you don't see anything else. What could it be, guys? Just building some suspense now, aren't I? You ready, guys? You ready to bear witness to the best prize? Yes. You can win yourself a plush Great Unclean One. That's a little unclean one.
What was it?
A little, it could be a new one, but it's actually titled Little Unclean One. So, hopefully this is the most important reason for anyone to become a member. You can win yourself a plushy Little Unclean One, which I thought is adorable. But yeah, if you're not into that thing, we have, like I said, £25 gift voucher for Warhammer and also a set of gaming aids for that Death Guard themed. I hope you like it. It's just a little thing to sort of give back to the community. I thought it was quite adorable.
They have to link the YouTube.
Oh yeah. Just make sure if you are a member and you want to enter the giveaways, make sure to link your Discord to your YouTube account. There's a guide I think pinned in the not the announcement channel, in the general or rules channel. I'll put it in the members chat for you. That will unlock the Plague Marine rank in Discord, which will allow you to see the giveaway channel, and in there basically you can enter the giveaways, which we'll put up probably this weekend. I want a Plague Surgeon painted by your dog as a gift. Who wants to see the dog? everyone seems to want to see the dog when the stream comes on. So if you want to see the dog, I can go get the dog very quickly if you want. If you want Kirby cam for 5 minutes before I head off, I can do that for you. I'll even make the camera a bit bigger for you, so you can get.
Sit on your chair.
You'll happily sit on my chair. If anyone wants Kirby cam, we can do that. But yeah, so yeah, we're just trying to figure out some new ways to give back to members a bit more. Obviously, the channel is growing kind of rapidly. We have a couple special things for 4K subscribers as well. I don't want to link it, but I guess yeah, everyone wants dog. I'll go get him in a sec. But we want to 4K subscribers. We have some couple special guests that have agreed to come on live stream, which will be quite interesting to see. Okay, I'll go get the dog. 1 second. Kirby.
What the hell?
Oh, he's got upside down. Go on the chair, you go. Come on. Come on, up. Up in there. People want to see you. Come on. Apparently the highlight of the show. Up. Come on. Up in there. On the chair. Come on, you.
Yeah, we jump.
Up. There we go. I'll put that on. There you go, everyone. You're happy now. There you go. I'll let him take over the stream. There you go. You be a good boy. There you go. That's the content everyone's tuned in for. Content. Be a good boy. But yeah. So what I'll do is then, on that note, I'm gonna try and sort of sit down next to him. So I'll just like kneel next to him.
He looks a bit
So, yeah. On that note, I will give him a treat after. Don't worry. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah. So members, make sure join the Discord, get involved in the giveaways, get some rewards back. He's yawning. He's tired. I can sleep happy now. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all those gifted memberships and stuff before. It was kind of wild. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, we'll have we'll have plenty more event recaps coming up and plenty more content coming up, and that is basically the end of that then. So for now, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good night. Puppers, that is how we know Aiden is good people. All about the puppers, mate. And yeah, from myself, from Kirby, and from Nat, who you can't see because she's afraid of cameras, enjoy your night, and we'll catch you on the next one, everyone.